right. And here we are. Friday. It's Husky Huddle time. UConn football. I'm your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. And with me, as always, he says yes to greatness, and it's go time, David Schumann.
Yes.
Your hair looks lovely. And we have the icon, legendary voice of the Huskies, the best of the best, the legend, Joe D. Ambrosia. Joe, great to see you, and the goatee.
I think your hair looks nice, Dave. I'm not going to call it pretty. I'm impressed.
Well,
how much product do you use in that? How much product do you use in that moss?
This is that jersey, you know.
See, at least someone's giving it back to you. I like it. I like it.
All right, I have a complaint about the Open.
I know. We got to get you added to it.
No. It has nothing to do with me. Why is it in Syracuse colors?
Oh, that's true. It is an orange.
It's red.
No, it's orange.
No, it's orange.
No, it's orange.
Right.
Syracuse orange.
Yeah, he is right. It is orange.
It looks red.
Maybe you should get Matt Park on this instead of me.
No, you gotta get there. We gotta get it to blue. You gotta.
We can do blue and red.
We'll do blue, and you gotta put Joe.
No. It's not about. It has nothing to do with me.
I know. Look, we gotta get.
I just noticed that this morning for the first time that it's decided blue and orange. So we're playing Delaware tomorrow, and Joe, I really don't know. I know this is a historic rivalry, and I know it's a team that typically we had struggled against in the old Yankee Conference. But wasn't this one of the biggest rivalries in the Yankee Conference going back for decades? No, I wouldn't call it a big rivalry because Delaware won all the time. It's only a rival. It's only a rivalry if it's, it can't be the hammer and the nail. And for a long time, it was the hammer and the nail. Delaware under Tubby Raymond, their legendary coach, used to handle UConn pretty easily. There were some trips to Newark that were clearly forgettable for UConn, and at least one for the radio broadcast team. But it wasn't much. UConn's rivals were always UMass and URI. Those were who the rivals were in the Yankee Conference day. Delaware was when they expanded the Yankee Conference, then Delaware came in, and they ran that wing T that was really difficult to play against for UConn.
Very difficult.
Yeah.
He was create. It's why it's called the Delaware wing T.
Bobby Raymond invented it.
Right. In fact, they had the helmets. They had those helmets before Michigan did.
The winged helmets,
They did?
Helmet.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sure. I'm pretty sure.
Wow. So the last time that we played Delaware was the good season, the 98 year, the 10-win season.
It was the playoff season, right?
Yeah, and we lost to them, I believe, that year. That was one of the losses.
That was one of the losses because they gave up 1 million yards on defense.
Yeah, they lost 59-17.
Delaware had a really good quarterback that year.
Don't forget, Rich Gannon came from there. So did Scott Bruner.
Scott Bruner came from Delaware. Why?
Scott Bruner used to be my insurance agent for many years. Scott Bruner.
He was a Delaware guy.
6'7".
Well, it's just funny because the quarterback for the 98 game was Matt Nagy. He was the Bears head coach a few years ago. Oh my God. So I didn't know that I knew about Flacco, but I thought they historically were a wing T team and ran the ball. But so he threw for 556 yards against them in 98.
Oh, it was Flacco. Flacco was a quarterback in 98?
No. Matt Nagy.
Oh, Nagy was great. He's a coach, isn't he?
Yeah, that's what I just said. He coached for the Bears.
Yes.
Wow, they have
Yes.
That's crazy. So, Joe, what do you think about? What do you think about them moving up to 1A? Do you think that they'll have a
University of New Haven is? That's who UConn's going to open up with, I think, next year. Look. As much money as you lose in FBS, FCS, you have no matter how good you are, you have no chance of winning money, of making money, none whatsoever. So if you've got tradition, and you've got a geographically suitable conference, and they they fit in Conference USA, then why not go for it?
Yeah. No, I mean, and they have a pretty rabid fan base too, right?
It's a very, at least in the old. No, I haven't seen them for 27 years, but I don't think much has changed. Schools don't go from having rabid fan bases to having apathetic fan bases.
Right.
So I would think there'll be this weekend's huge. It's their first FBS home game, so they're going to be all geeked. They're going to be all geeked up. Kickoff's not till 3. Kickoff's not till 3. So if you wanna, you can get pretty lubricated by kickoff.
That's true. Now, I was at the Syracuse game, and we did some good things, but like you said, it was just a terrible missed opportunity. Do you think that they're taking Delaware lightly? Do you think it could be one of those letdown trap games that we see?
I don't think Morrow will let him take them lightly. I think he understands. He's been around the college game, obviously, and had success, and he understands that in a situation like this, especially on the road, you can't go in thinking, "Oh, it's their first year of FBS." I remember in the game in '92 where UConn hosted a New Haven team that was Division II and got beat, and was the start of a bad season, a very bad season in '92, right before Schumann got there and turned the whole program around. So,
'92, that was my redshirt year. That was Doug Harkins was the captain, I think. That was when they lost to New Haven.
13-12.
I remember sitting on. It was my very first game. I just, obviously was in camp for a few weeks, and I wasn't playing. I was redshirting, and I remember thinking, "What the hell am I doing here?"
Well, it was my first game. It was my first game on the radio for them.
Oh, what?
That's they had just gotten the contract, and my thought when the game ended is, "What the hell am I doing here?"
I couldn't believe it. I didn't know, and I didn't even know what New Haven was at the time. I mean, obviously, I was 18, didn't really know much about anything, probably.
Well, not many people knew how good Mark Whipple was at the time.
Right,
and he was
fantastic coach.
And he was their head coach. So,
and they had that running back. Robert Graham was running wild.
Right.
I think his name was Robert Graham.
I think so. So anyway, Steve, to get back to your original question. No, I don't think they'll take them lightly, especially coming off. Now, if they had won last week, that might be a realistic possibility. But you guys know this as ex-players. A loss gets your attention because it gets the coach's attention, and it lets the coach focus not the good stuff, but the stuff that was shit. And I'm sure that was the focus of practice this week, especially finishing games. I guarantee you they did a bunch of conditioning this week because that final 5 minutes in the overtime wasn't pretty.
No, it was not. And basically they scored 3 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes, and then the overtime they just we gave up on defense after playing 3 quarters. So it's crazy. I didn't even know this. We are 1-4 against teams in Conference USA. So that's not good.
Well, it depends who have they played in Conference USA.
FIU 0-3 against Middle Tennessee State.
Well, that's all. But that's all from
Cincinnati.
the 1AA days. No, no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm sorry. That's from the real early days.
Right, because I was there for the Cincinnati one. Louisville, Marshall, USF. Wow. When they were members of Conference USA.
I don't remember them playing Louisville when they were a member of Conference USA.
Yeah, that was my year. That was 2000. Louisville was still in Conference USA in 2000 when we played.
Okay.
And that's when they had that good quarterback. He ended up being a coach. I can't remember his name, but he
Rom?
No.
Yeah, Rob. Yeah, no, I know who you mean, Stu. I know who you mean.
He was a lefty. I know it was before him. Because I played with him in NFL Europe. I remember him. But yeah, they had that really good quarterback, and we had Ryan Tracy, and we played them tough. I think we were up at halftime, and then they came alive. But so Conference USA has had a big makeover, and Delaware traditionally should be a good fit. I mean, they beat Delaware State. And it was a close game, actually. And then they lost to Colorado 31-7, which isn't horrible. I mean, it's for a team starting out at FBS. So they have some players. They have
their starting quarterback.
Yes.
Their starting quarterback got hurt in the Delaware State game. I can't. I don't see notes in their notes. They don't list a depth chart. They do the funky thing, just listing everybody who could play at a position.
Right.
And so I don't know if the regular kid will be back.
I think it's Nick Minicucci, right?
Right.
He may be the one that got it.
He actually played for my club team for a little while. He played at Don Bosco. Yeah.
Oh, he's a Jersey.
Yeah, Jersey.
Jersey has always been a big recruiting base for them.
For Delaware. Okay.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're not going to get talent in state, right? Delaware's not a football
There's
state.
some, but not much. Not a lot.
It's kind of like Connecticut, Steve. There's good players. There's just not a lot of them.
Yeah.
Right, because it's such a small state, just like Rhode Island.
Right.
But yeah, they are going to be tough. My big thing is we have to get Mel Brown the ball. And that was my frustration against Syracuse. Mel Brown having 5 carries is criminal. He is our home run hitter, breakaway guy. They need to get him at least 10 touches. I think 15. I have no problem with Cam Edwards getting the ball. I mean, he had 21 carries against Syracuse. I love Cam. He runs hard. He gets downhill. But, Joe, I think you said it best. The offense was very vanilla against Syracuse. And that is what I think they really need to.
Except for the touchdown. The touchdown was the only non-vanilla play, and that was the
reverse pass. Right. But that to stall out in the red zone like they did a couple times, that one time, and then I think they really have to expand their horizons with the offense, because you see the same concepts over and over and over. And I think our offensive line is very good. I watch, the center, the Wes Hope. He did a great job. When you have.
What do you think of your boy from Notre Dame?
He's good. I mean, he had one tough series where he was getting. I thought they were timing the clap, the get off. He was getting beat off the edge. He got beat twice in a row, and really pressured Figiano. But other than that, I thought he was fine. I really think he's a good player. Do you disagree?
Oh no, I didn't. No, I didn't. I only saw highlights. I had a game that day, so I didn't.
Right.
The game, And then to be honest with you, when I heard they lost,
Yeah.
wasting 3 hours of sifting through plays wasn't on my agenda. So,
Well, my issue, they like to run a lot of perimeter plays, outside zone. And I went through and counted it. We had 34 runs overall and 34 carries, I think, for 142, which is good, very good. But we ran outside to the boundary, to the tight end, 24 out of the 34 times. So when you're that predictable and you don't have any counter off of that, you're going to get shut down. And that's exactly what happened. Mel Brown breaks the 45-yard touchdown run early in the game. Syracuse realizes Figiano's not reading anything. He's not looking for the zone read. He's not going to pull it and run. We're just going to pursue. And that is what I saw. Their backside pursuit, they were flying. And every time we would run outside, they got to stick a foot and get north. Once they did that, our backs would get killed from the backside. So that is why I think I'd like to see us go more north and south in the run game. I'd like to see us do more play action. I'd like to see Vigiano, naked or boot, get him out in space. And the other thing that was really missing, and I don't know if he can do it, but the quick game, the 3-step, there's none of that. And I mean, I'm a big RPO guy, but that also doesn't seem to be in the game plan. But those are all.
Unless I think with this team, unless you're trailing, and they led for almost the entire game, you should never You should never have more pass attempts than running attempts.
I agree. I agree.
As much as people love the Fagnano story, and he's turned out to be, because of Evers not being what they thought, he's turned out to be a godsend. He's not Johnny Unitas.
No.
Okay.
No.
So I would, unless you're trailing and you're forced to throw the ball a lot, I think you always with this team want to see more runs than passes.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I just think that, and I'm not a run guy. I love the passing game. I think the running game is is okay for some teams, but that's not. If I was an offensive coordinator, I'd throw the ball a lot. But now with this personnel, I just think, as you said, Steve, and I know Dave said this with Edwards and with Brown, and even Rosa to a degree, although he's more of a pass catcher out of the backfield, as is Brown. I would rather see those numbers be reversed: 43 runs, 34 passes. And I think 34 is a lot.
I do too.
If the run game's not working, let's say they come out tomorrow and Delaware's got the fearsome foursome plan for them up front, and Carson, Banks, and Taylor at the linebackers, then you've got to adjust on the fly. Okay? But I don't know that. I don't think that's going to happen. I know they played Colorado a good game, but they still got beat 31-7. So I would think UConn will come out and establish the run tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they have to, but I would like to see some complementary runs instead of just running outside zone.
You got to run inside, right?
Yes.
I mean, you got to run inside to be successful.
I think they need. See, they don't use a lot of pin and pull, and they
don't.
What is that? Explain pin and pull to me.
Down blocking and wrapping around.
Pin and pull. Pin and pull. Yeah. I thought you said pull. I was trying to think if somebody was dancing on a pole. This is pin and pull.
Pin and pull, yeah. Down blocking, wrapping guards and tackles around, and they don't do a ton of that. And it's obviously the philosophy is more of a zone offense, which running game, which is fine. Usually complemented by a quarterback run game, which is not really our thing in that. Zone blocking scheme is simple to teach, tough to execute.
Yeah.
And pin and pull is
It's a man scheme more than anything.
it's a gap scheme. Pin and pull. It's gap scheme.
It depends.
It's a gap scheme.
Eh,
How does it depend?
Wow, I taught it more as a man scheme because it depends on who lines up on the tight end and who lines up on the guard. Because whoever's uncovered is usually pulling. The tight end blocks on. If the tackle's uncovered, the tackle pulls. The guard will block on, and then I'll pull the center. So I kind of taught it like a man scheme. Well, okay, fine. You want to call it
from the Delaware? It comes from the wing tape.
Yeah, it is. It basically is. It's like a sweep, 100%. But I like that scheme too. I think that's great. But we have such good tight ends. I just want them to run counter. It's the same formation that they line up in. They line up with the tight end of the boundary, or they two tight ends, a tight end and a wing, and the back comes across just like you would on outside zone, and then the guard pulls, the tight end pulls, the H or the wing,
right,
and the back follows them. It's counter H.
They zone block away.
Yeah, you just block. It's a gap scheme down to everyone from the plate side down,
and then they're just pulling the tight end.
Yeah, you pull the guard in the tight end.
The H, the guard and the H.
Correct. Yes, the guard kicks out the defensive end, and the H pulls around for the linebacker. But I think you're going to get so much flow on that action from Mel Brown that
they just do it as they just do it where the H kicks out the end and they zone block away. You
can do it that way too.
I mean, that's what they do, which I don't think is as of. I mean, you do that.
I like that. You're talking about the zone divide where the tight end lands the backside end.
Yeah.
I like that too.
They do that. That's what they do within their scheme.
Occasionally, it's just that's not really a counter. If they ran counter H, I think they get so much flow to the backs action that when he comes around, guard kicks out the end, tight end leads up, or the H leads up, kicks, blocks the front side inside linebacker. I think it's a home run. I don't know how you don't have a counter in. If you're majoring in outside zone, and that's what we do, we major in outside zone. That's our base play. I don't know any other team that does that. No other team really majors in outside zone.
Why would they do that? What's the benefit to it?
Joe, there isn't, and I hate it.
There is. It gives your back a two-way go. So if you believe that your backs
not the way we run
are the better players, if you believe that they're the better player, then it allows you, if the end comes upfield, you cut it up.
Yeah, you stick a foot and go north.
Right, and it becomes an inside play. If the end is closed in, then you continue on, and it's like a jet for you. So
okay.
It allows if you have a good back, like the philosophy probably is, without talking to them, but the philosophy probably is our backs are good. We don't want to limit them to a gap. Okay. So by not limiting, this doesn't limit them to a gap. It allows them to read the flow of the blocking and either continue on to the outside or cut up. So that's probably why they like it. And as opposed to a gap scheme where you're going to go to a particular area and you're going to run the ball into that particular area, and there's not as much flexibility. You're relying more on the linemen to be able to the linemen and the tight ends in this case to be able to do the pulling and leading. So that's the biggest difference. The difficulty for the defense is that you can overflow on the outside zone. And if your backs are good, they will cut up and gain yards, right? Or you underflow and they outrun you, which is what happened on Mel Brown's big run, right? They didn't get across. And so that's the beauty of it. When it's tied with a quarterback that can pull, it becomes really dangerous because you have a natural counter, which is a quarterback that can pull. That's the thing that I think Steve feels is probably the limiting aspect of it. With Pagano is that you don't really have a quarterback that can pull.
Hold the backside.
Pull it backside and create the natural counter, right?
Yes, but I wholeheartedly disagree with your assessment on the outside zone. Because
explain your assessment of it.
Because when you run it out of the gun with an offset back, he's so deep, his aiming point is so flat, it is very, very hard for him to get outside and get vertical. It ends up being a natural cut play. He has to go flat, stick a foot, and go north, as opposed to the Mike Shanahan offense where it's under center and you're running stretch. The quarterback has to sprint to get to the handoff, to get to the landmark. And that's when you can actually get to the outside because the back's coming more downhill. His aiming point's still outside, but he's coming downhill as opposed to flat, getting the handoff. The aiming point is always 1 by 1 outside of the tight end. That's how Norris Wilson ran it. And that's how you get outside.
The difficulty of what you're talking about, okay, for UConn is two things. If they were under center, it would give them some sort of boot action off of it, which would be good.
Correct.
Right? Whereas from gun, not pistol you could do it as well.
I would love it if you did it out of pistol.
Yeah, pistol you could do it as well. It would be similar to being in under center. The issue from gun is that if you don't have a runner, okay, you don't have the pull off of it. That's your boot. It's not as good a pull. The pull would be good, but it's not as good a boot because your boot is flat. And then I think your point, what you're saying is that the running back, because he's going laterally, cannot see when he cuts up the field. He can't see who's flowing from the inside to make another cut.
You're putting a lot on him. Yeah.
Yeah, you're putting a lot.
The timing has to be right.
Because he's going laterally, and then he has to put his foot in the ground, and a determined flow again, which is harder if you're going lateral.
Correct.
Let me ask you this. If you think you have the physically superior team, and I would imagine that's UConn's thought going into tomorrow, why wouldn't you just keep it simple?
I think they can. I think they should. I agree 100%. The running game, in my opinion, they got to be more physical and get north and south as opposed to trying to get outside.
I mean, do they run any toss sweeps, or is it all handoffs to?
It's all out of the gun. It's all handoffs. They went on it's the first time I've ever seen them go under center. They did go under center 2 or 3 times, but otherwise everything's out of the gun. But they did.
Was that always a run play? Was that always a run play?
Yeah. Like I said, out of the 24 runs, out of the 34 runs, 24 were that outside zone play to the boundary to the tight end. So again,
they never go to the wide side.
They didn't run to they did a couple times, but it got destroyed. But the majority of the runs were to the boundary, which is normal because most defenses are playing field boundary strength. So they'll play the strength to the field. So there's always an extra guy to the field. So I know the offensive coordinator's an O-line coach. And I worked for an offensive coordinator who was an O-line coach too. So that's how they think. I want to run into the best numbers. The best numbers are going to be to the boundary. But the counter off of it, now you have an extra guy, so you can run to the field. So you can run your outside zone to the boundary, counter back to the field. That's all I'm saying. But I agree with you, Joe. They can get under center or get in pistol and run the ball downhill and out physical this team. I 100% believe that. And I don't think I think Joe shouldn't throw more than 20 to 25 times. I think that's his pitch count, in my opinion. He's efficient. He's just, his accuracy is a little off. Dave, I don't know if you see his footwork, he looks like he's a little elongated in his stride when he throws, and that's why I think his accuracy's off. But the other thing is, Joe, our wide receivers are really freaking good.
Yeah.
Skylar Bell is Randy Moss. I mean, he is unbelievable.
Let me ask you this. In 2 games, have they run a bubble screen?
No. That's the other thing. No. That's the other thing you can do. If you don't have a running quarterback, what you can do out of the outside zone, he can pull it and throw the bubble. I agree.
Yes,
or
that would be a great counter too.
Yeah, 100%. And that's usually everywhere else I've coached, that's been built in. You always have a bubble, or you always have a hitch or a speed out built in to those run plays.
They might have thrown one time to Romello on that, actually.
They threw a direct pass to him, not a bubble. Like he just turned and caught it.
Yeah, like an arrow route.
No, he literally just turned and caught it, and then the slot kicked out.
Like a quick. Yeah, okay, I got
it. Yes.
What do you think the odds are? And we talked about this last week a lot. I talked about it a lot, and you guys tended to agree because you're smart. What about the idea that we see Evers for a series or 2?
100%. They needed that, especially
perfect game to do it too. Perfect game to do it.
To get
just
him
for a change of pace, and I think it would be good because I mean, again, I don't know the kid from Adam. I all I hear is good things about him personally wise, and that's the most important thing.
Great family, good kid.
You'd have to think his confidence isn't exactly raging. He was brought in, got paid a lot of money to be the number 1 quarterback, and he's sitting behind a guy who's 106 years old. So
he's 8th year senior.
He's 7th year senior. So I would think from a confidence standpoint, you'd want to get Nick in with a package and not just to hand the ball off to Cam or to Mel or to Victor, whatever. To run the ball a couple times himself. And if it doesn't work in a series, all right, then you don't bring him back. You know? It's a put up or shut up business.
Yeah, I
agree wholeheartedly. You have nothing to lose putting him in now.
I agree because I don't know that he definitely got a fair shake last year. Okay, his first game was against Maryland.
True,
and that was awful. So had it been this year, and the first game was against Central Connecticut State.
That's a very good point, Steve. That's a great
maybe
point.
His first game he just got clobbered, and he never got into a rhythm because it was always start and stop because of his injuries.
Yeah,
he got 2 concussions. He missed. He was out after the Maryland game. He missed 2 games. I think he came back for Temple. And then he got hurt again, and that was it. He got hurt 3 different times. So when you have a quarterback, especially in the transfer portal era, start and stop, they don't get confidence. They don't get into a rhythm, and I think that was part of it. 100% against Delaware. If we got to the plus 30. I'd put him in, and I would have a package just like Joe said. Now you have a dynamic player. He's not, Lamar Jackson running, but he's a threat to run. And that's all we need is a threat to run, to hold the backside. And then you have the quarterback run game. You can run some quarterback power.
Right.
You can run the quarterback outside zone. I love all that quarterback counter. You can run all that stuff with him. And I think that he can throw. You can run the naked with him. You can have him throw some quick game.
Well, from what I've seen of his passing, that's not a strong point.
It's not. But I think that you can give him some easy throws and try to get his confidence up.
You could make him serviceable in the pass game.
Yes. You just, again, I had this argument with Dave. You have to put your players in a position to succeed. And that means you know what they can do, you know what they can't do.
What did Dave say? No, you don't? Is that the argument? Dave said, no, you don't.
Wait, you had this argument with me? When did it happen?
Well, we talked about how UConn, they're not putting their players in a position to succeed.
Okay.
When you have a Skylar Bell, when you have the running backs that we have, we're not putting them in the best position.
I think what we talked about was that they needed to utilize the tight ends, more, right?
Yeah.
We need to utilize the tight ends more. We needed to try and get, if we could, 2 running backs on the field.
I want Cam and Mel on the field.
Maybe run like, if you wanted to run.
I want zone read option.
What?
I want the zone read option with Mel.
What I think they should do with the 2 backs is run some cross zone.
Yeah, you can do that.
You run jet and you run inside zone away from it, utilize the 2 backs, and they don't have to block. So you 100%. Get both stars on the field at the same time.
I think
and then utilizing the receivers as the 2 receivers primarily as the threats. I mean, having packages in that fashion will give them a better chance against better teams.
I agree.
You got to have more of the better players involved versus having guys that are not going to do anything involved, like some of the receivers, having them on the field that aren't going to catch the ball ever. That seems like a waste. It's like when we used to run Tom Jackson's special used to be when it was a run play, he would run two receivers on the field who had 0 chance of catching the ball. Like the other team didn't know that was going to be a run play. It was a Tom Jackson special. It was a Tom Jackson. If you were like a backup receiver, he'd run these 2 guys on the field, and and they would be in there to block.
Oh, they would be in the block.
They would be in there to block. I mean, what defensive coach doesn't see the personnel coming on that never catches the ball? They know number 18 and number 19 are not going to get a pass thrown to them. So, but yes, I mean, I think that's an important is getting the right players on the field for the right situations. But we talk about utilizing talent. I don't understand when you have 2 really good running backs like Mel Brown and Cam, that you don't put them on the field for some cross zone stuff or send the guy in motion, run like some end zone offense stuff where you send one guy in motion on the speed everywhere, for the swing, and the other guy runs inside zone or jet, right? And then you and now you have the one guy is a threat to catch the ball on the swing. The other guy is a threat to get the ball on the run. And now you're blocking people without actually blocking anyone.
Correct.
I would just say one thing, Stevie, about your thing about putting players in position to succeed. They succeeded for 55 minutes last week. They were in position to succeed. They were up 2 scores at 17-6, right? So they were in position to succeed. And at some point, it's got to fall upon the players not executing.
I agree. I think that when the chips were on the line, and from the late third quarter on, a lot of offensive coordinators call what they're comfortable with and what's safe, and we just kept running the same stuff, and it got shut down. We can move the ball. We can be explosive on offense if he's got to, take the governor off and let him go. That was my big thing. We were very vanilla. I think that we could have utilized some play action passing. I think we could have taken some shots downfield, and we didn't do that. Right? We just continued to run the ball, and it got stopped from the third quarter on to the fourth, and we didn't score any points. The best thing
but they still threw the ball 10 more times than they ran it.
They did. They did.
It's not like they ran the ball every play. We still had 10 more passes than runs.
Correct. But Figiano was 20 of 27 going into, I believe, 7 minutes in the fourth quarter. So a lot of those passes came from the fourth quarter on to overtime. And that was my biggest issue in overtime. It's 3rd and 2. You have Cam Edwards, you have Mel Brown, you have a powerful offensive line, you have good tight ends, and we throw the ball twice and lose the game. I would bet my life. I would play Russian roulette that if we handed the ball off twice, Cam and Mel would have gotten 2 yards in 2 attempts. That was my issue. But yeah, you're 100% right. We did throw the ball too much. I thought it came just a little bit later. I thought that he really got conservative with his play calling. And as I say, you're coaching not to lose instead of coaching to win.
On the flip side of it, if you were to argue on defense, they were getting after it, and that cost them.
The defense, that nothing angered me more when there's 2 minutes left, 5 minutes left, whatever. Now we start sending the house. We started blitzing everyone. And the other thing I hated, we're walking the Mike and the Will up to I told you, they walked them up into the A gap. And everyone knows they're not coming because you can tell by the safety rotation if there's a blitz coming. Mike and Will walk up in the A gap. Syracuse has got empty or trips. Now the Mike has to turn and run to try to get to the number 3 receiver. That's what I mean about putting him in a position to succeed. He's never going to get there. You don't need to do that. You're not confusing anyone. You're not surprising anyone. And then that last drive, when Syracuse tied it or took the lead, we blitzed and blitzed and blitzed. You don't need to do that. I would have been fine with rushing 3, drop 8, make him throw the ball, keep everything in front of you, run the clock. And that was the other issue. The drive before Syracuse got the ball back to drive down and take the lead, we're throwing the ball.
No, they didn't. That's not true.
That's not true?
No, they ran the ball 5 times out of 6 and then passed it. So that's totally – actually, no, they ran it all 6 times. Edwards ran for 25. Edwards ran for 6. Edwards was stopped for no gain. Syracuse went outside. Edwards ran for 4. Edwards ran for 3. Now, here's where
okay.
Yeah.
So that was
first play, I'm sorry. First play after the Syracuse penalty was a 4-run loss. Then Edwards ran for 3, and then 3rd and 11 from the Syracuse 40, they gave the ball to Bell on an end around, and he got stopped for no gain. So they ran the ball every play of that drive from 541 to 206.
Oh, okay. I got that wrong then. I must be thinking of the other one. So they ran that's what happened. I remember that.
The first two drives of the half of the quarter, they went pass, run, pass, pass, run, pass. Then the third drive, 4 runs and a pass. Then that drive I just talked about where they ran it 6 times. So not counting the last drive where they had to throw the ball all the time, they ran the ball 11 plays and passed it 5 plays.
Okay. So that is what you wanted to do. So we got it down to 2 minutes. We punted, and then Syracuse drove and scored, and that's when they took the lead, right? It was 17-12. Okay.
Yep.
But then I'm wrong offensively. Defensively, I just thought we blitzed too much. I thought that the last 2 series that Syracuse had the ball, and I love our DC, and he does a great job. I just thought he got too cute with what he was trying to do, with just trying to give different looks and blitzing. That, people say prevents you from winning. I think that they could have kept everything in front of them. They played tough defense the whole game, and then Syracuse ends up with 400 and something yards passing again. That's what bothered me. Coach Brock is outstanding, and I don't know why he did that, because he had a great game plan the whole time. You held them to 6 points. We had turnovers. We had interceptions. We had 2 fumbles. I mean, they played with their hair on fire, and that's what we need. I think offensively, the other thing I didn't like was, we played that Juice Vereen. I think can be a great counter as a tight end. I don't think he's an on the ball tight end. He's the NC State transfer. He's a great athlete, but when he was on the line, he struggled. I would split him out. I would put him off the ball more than I would put him on. Hansen, by far, is the most complete tight end. He can block. He can run routes. He can block in space. You can split him out. That's why I like Hansen.
Well, now in the overtime drive, after Syracuse took the lead, they threw the ball to the tight end 3 times.
Yes.
They threw it to Honig on 2nd and 11. It went incomplete. I don't know who they threw to on the pass interference play, but then they threw to Vereen on 1st and 10.
Right.
And it got 1 yard. And then they threw to Vereen on 4th and 3, and it was knocked away.
Correct.
So, I mean, they as you said, they tried 7 passes on 7 plays in the overtime, which kind of smacks of desperation.
I agree. That's why, when they had it at 3rd and 2, I didn't see the need for them to pass. Right. I get the first down. Now you're 1st and goal. All right. Now you got a chance to punch it in and, tie the game, go for 2 and win it. I don't care. But I didn't like the play calling. Just like you said, Joe, I didn't like the play calling in overtime because 100% reeks of desperation when you're doing that.
Well, it's all passing, and you would run the ball effectively. Maybe you're thinking you don't have any momentum left because the game has gotten away from you, but still, I just, I think it's got to be a team that runs more than it passes.
I agree.
That's my take. And that's not, as I said, that's not the football I like, but I think for this team, that's the type of football that'll win.
Yeah, I think that you're 100% right. Figiano has to be on a pitch count. 25 passes tops, I think, is his limit. He's not a guy that can drop back and throw 42 times. That's not strength.
Well, I think he can. I just think that he's a gunslinger. You're going to have errors that are going to happen if you do it that much.
He's not super accurate. He throws all fastballs. That's the thing I see with him. Like, he throws hard. Like, there's not a lot of. Yeah, I know you call him a gunslinger, but I love our receivers. Porter is excellent. He was a great find. Skylar Bell is a game changer, and Romello Murphy, I think he is outstanding as well. When you see them come on the field, we have not had receivers like that since Marcus Easley, maybe Kashif. So those guys make Joe's job a lot easier. But I do agree with Joe. Against Delaware, we should be running the ball. It should be 45 runs, 20 passes. But I hope we run more plays than that.
All right, so here's Fagnano. Let me give you this from a year ago. So for Fagnano a year ago, he came into the Maryland game. He threw 16 passes. He played Merrimack. He threw 19. He barely played against Duke and Florida Atlantic. Then he threw 19 against Buffalo, 41 against Temple, 12 against UAB. I don't remember. Did he split that game with Evers? I don't think so, right?
No, I think Evers started UAB and got hurt.
48 against Syracuse, 25 against UMass, 23 against North Carolina.
So you definitely see the amount of times he throws equating to when we win. So you're right. The games that we won, look at how many times he threw.
Last throws.
And without looking back at it, he probably those were probably games that they ran the ball extremely well.
They did. And he set a record against Merrimack. He broke our Orlovsky's record with, I believe it was 6 touchdown passes in one game.
That's bullshit. That's Merrimack.
I know. It was a division.
That's with all due respect to Joe, he should never be mentioned in the same breath as Dan Orlovsky.
No, I agree. Because his numbers last year, he had 20 touchdowns and I believe 7 interceptions.
Yeah, you can sign up for that all the time.
And 6 of those touchdowns came against Merrimack. But against Delaware, the Minucci kid, it seems to be very good. He threw for 312 against Colorado. That's impressive.
Well, yes, but you don't know. You don't know how much of that was when they were way behind.
Right. That's true.
You gotta see the game to be able to delineate what the numbers mean.
Correct.
Look, they got a kid that can run the ball. They've got a couple of receivers. They're going to be all pumped up. Do I think UConn's going to win? Yeah. Do I think it's going to be easy? No. I think it's going to go down. UConn won't pull away till midway through the fourth quarter. And then I think they win like 34-17.
Northman football. Yes, I agree with you. The pin and pull. That's exactly what we were talking about. Down block, the first man pulled, the uncovered man pulls 100%. And you can pull the center. Split zone, I love that. That's my favorite play, where the H comes across, whams the backside end. Because you give your back now, as we call it, he can bang it, he can bend it, or he can bounce it. That's why I like the pistol inside zone. He has 3 options. The outside zone does not give you that. Then the way we run it, it's basically you got to stick a foot and get north. But so, Joe, what would you say prediction-wise for this week?
I just said it, 34-17 UConn.
Oh, 34-17. Okay. I didn't hear the score.
Win it in the fourth quarter. They'll
they'll pull
take
away.
control in the fourth quarter, not before.
Dave?
I think it's going to be a little closer than that. I think it's going to be like 28-21.
Wow, I hope it's not that close.
I think we're. I don't know why I keep freezing.
Yeah,
Maybe because I keep moving between tabs, but that might be why. But yeah, I think the big reason is I think UConn may take them a little lightly.
I asked about that.
And I think that Delaware is good enough and is going to prey on the history that Delaware has had a lot of success on UConn against UConn, and they're going to be. I think eventually it's going to take 4 quarters. We'll eventually wear them out and beat them because we'll be more talented than them.
Yeah.
But I don't know that we're going to beat them because we unveil some witty offense or some witty defense. I think we're just going to out-talent them. Skylar Bell is way more talented than anybody Delaware has. Our running backs are way more talented than anyone that Delaware has. Our speed on defense should be more than what Delaware has. But Delaware's the thing that makes me nervous about Delaware is that they're kind of like JMU. You know, they always seem to get an access to better players than the level that they're at.
Exactly. Shu. Exactly.
And Delaware, where they're situated, though there's not that many players in quote-unquote Delaware, they're situated in between New Jersey and Maryland.
Yeah, the DMV.
And that's the Pennsylvania. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. And I think that you have players. This is what makes me nervous about Delaware. This is what was always an issue for UConn in the FCS era. You have access to players that come from good football states.
Right.
And so sometimes players are under recruited because they're the next tier guy and they're under recruited for that reason. But they actually might be better than what we may have access to as easily in the state of Connecticut.
Yep.
And that's just being situated between those 3 states, and Virginia is obviously very close, and Washington, D.C. is very close.
Yeah, the DMV
Those are big football areas, and Philadelphia is a huge football area. Okay, obviously New Jersey is a good football area. So you have access to all of that, and you can get some guys that maybe were considered second tier, but maybe really are not. You know what I mean? Relative to what we could get. And that's why I think it's the same reason why JMU has success, because of Virginia, PA, Maryland, and North Carolina. They get some of those. They were getting a lot of those guys that would slip through the cracks that didn't go to University of Virginia, didn't go to Virginia Tech. And now they're at JMU and they were damn good. And we'd struggle with those guys.
Yeah.
We'd struggle with them. They would have some athletes that were physical specimens that for whatever reason were an inch too short, you know what I mean? But they were still specimens, you know, they just were an inch too short or a tenth of a second too slow to go to Virginia or Virginia Tech, but they were still freakish athletes. And I think that they have access to that in Delaware as well. That's the thing that makes me nervous. I think we'll wear them out over 4 quarters and pull it out because we do have Skylar Bell. We do have guys that can do some things, but I think it's going to be tough for them. And I think it was tougher for Colorado than they expected it to be.
Right. They have 27 kids from New Jersey, 18 kids from Pennsylvania, 10 kids from Virginia. So that's over their roster. They have 55 kids from those 3 places. So, you know, as you said, Shu,
they're going to be good.
And I got a book here real quickly. But as you said, they get players from football-rich states, and those are kids that have talent. So, I think 34-17 is kind of what I'm hoping for. I think 28-21 may be more realistic.
I picked Syracuse last week to win. I think we're going to come out and want a vengeance. We're going to come out with our hair on fire. We're going to be explosive. We're going to score points. I'm going 42-14. UConn.
I'll take the 28 points.
42 to what?
14.
I'll take the 28
That'll
points.
be awesome.
I'm telling you, I think we're going to have our coming out party on offense, and I'm hoping they'll put it together. The Syracuse loss is going to stick in their craw. They're going to come out on fire, and they're going to bury Delaware, and that's what they should do.
Okay.
So
Monday we'll see.
For the man himself, the icon, the voice of the Huskies, the best of the best, Joe D. Thank you for being with us as always. Coach Schumann, you were saying yes to greatness, and it's go time. I'm Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, life gives you lemons. Don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges. I'm right back in life.